my dirty glass.
Yum. This is such a cute little gadget. I need to get that. I love it. And it's the right color for
And
my
it,
kitchen.
yes, the color is
You can leave it if you want to.
It matches with everything,
Right.
so it is meant to be.
I know. I'm going to get the KitchenAid in that color. The big one. The mixer.
Yeah.
I want them.
See, that's on my, well, mine's like a little smaller one, I guess something like that, but it's that color, and I just pray all the time. Don't break, don't break. Hang in there. You can do it. So.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for being patient with us. We're doing pumpkin pie. I have Veronica Cortes. She is an amazing baker. I actually met you. You have a cooking club that you do for Ronald McDonald House.
Right, yeah.
And she invited me to volunteer with her group, and so we go in there and we cook for the families, and it's a wonderful organization. Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting us because I take my daughter, and it's just a great opportunity. You do really great things there. But I have been watching you posting about your cookies and your bake stuff, and I'm like, I gotta get this girl on. So she's been a good sport to come on and teach you about pumpkin pie. Now, this is a real pumpkin, and I'll talk to you in a minute about how to do, if you want to make a real pumpkin pie out of a real pumpkin. But the truth is, most of us want to just get it out of the can. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I'll tell you how to do this in a few minutes, but Veronica's gonna go step by step to do the crust. For a beautiful flaky crust, she's gonna teach you how to decorate. I know I posted this beautiful pie with these leaves that, I mean, looks amazing. So she's gonna actually do one for you so you can see it. And we're just gonna go through the steps of how to do it. So if you have questions, you can drop it below. And then when we're done, we're gonna teach you about making flavor-infused whipped cream with booze. Now, if you don't drink, don't get paranoid. Vanilla extract has alcohol in it. So we're talking about a tablespoon, maybe, in an entire thing of whipped cream. So this isn't something you're gonna get drunk on. It's okay for the kids. It's basically an extract, and it's a flavor. And you can make it stronger if you wanna, like, if your uncle's a little cranky on Thanksgiving, maybe you can make a little extra stronger Fireball flavored and just, here, Uncle Joe, have some more boozy, whatever, and get him to take a nap. But these are flavors that will elevate your pie. So I'll be talking about different kinds of alcohol infusions and then some that are non-alcoholic if you want to do that. So Veronica, I'm going to turn the time over to you, and she's going to teach you how to make pie crust. Now, I will admit, pie crust makes me nervous. I buy the refrigerated stuff, and let me get it. I'll show you what I buy. Just, if you feel intimidated, you can buy refrigerated crust, and I will not judge you because I buy them myself. I like this brand. This, I think I get it at Sprouts. I like it because there's no bleached flour, there's no hydrogenated oils, but you know, get whatever you like. But this is nice to have on hand. You can make little meat pies with it or chicken pot pie, you know? Yeah. But homemade crust is the way to go. So she's gonna tell you how to do it.
Okay, so it's very simple. So what you need is all-purpose flour, some very cold ice water, and that's the key. Keep everything cold.
Yes.
Super cold. The butter, 1 stick of butter is all you need. So you will want to cut that up, unsalted butter,
Unsalted. Okay.
Unsalted butter, cut that up into cubes, and then go ahead and put that in the fridge for maybe about 15 minutes. Because when this is baking, you want everything to be as cold as can be.
Absolutely.
So that way, it just creates these little
pockets of what happens is the butter steams in the flour, and it creates that flaky crust. And so if you overwork the crust, or if the butter's warm or room temp, you're not going to get that really flaky crust. So all right, let's go.
So we'll go ahead and do that. So we're going to pour this in here.
I'm going to move this forward just a little bit more so that everybody can see. So she's using like a little KitchenAid, like it's like a little I want to say Cuisinart, but that's not the word. Food processor. But you could probably do it in one of those fancy blenders. You could do it by hand. Your grandma probably had a tool that looks like this. It's a pastry cutter. You can use 2 forks.
Yeah,
you know,
2 forks will work.
And the idea is you're working this dough that feels like it's never going to come together. Like it feels like it's never going to come together because it's kind of dry. And you're looking for those balls to form of the butter that meets the flour. So have patience with it.
Yeah. So you're going to mix that, and you're also going to use about a teaspoon and a half of sugar in there as well.
All right.
Try not to.
So it's 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. It's 1 1/2 teaspoons of sugar. It's a pinch of salt. It's a 1/2 cup, 1 stick of unsalted butter cut into cubes and chilled. You need salt?
Salt, yes.
Where did I put the salt? I was like, we're not cooking. We don't need the salt. Oh, here it is. There you go, my dear.
Thank
Put a
you very
pinch.
much. So
Pinch it, whatever you want. It's 2 to 4 tablespoons of ice cold buttermilk or ice water, your choice, whatever you want to do. And then you're going to use an egg wash later. We'll show you that.
yeah, so just gonna give it a few little pulses here, and that's it.
Okay.
Very, very easy.
This really takes like the work out of what seemed so daunting. You remember seeing like your grandma with the forks or whatever, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's never gonna work.
Yeah, and if you want to do it that way, or if that's all you have, then yeah, you can. But this
is so
much more
easy.
quicker. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel so intimidated now. Maybe I'll
No.
make my own crust.
Not at all. And then you're just gonna go ahead and throw these little cubes of butter in here, and again, just make sure they're super cold.
Those are cubes of love.
Yeah.
I feel like butter is just, I call them cubes of love.
And then we're gonna go ahead and pulse that a little bit more here. And you want to have it a little bit chunky as well. So.
Yeah, for sure. That thing is awesome.
Isn't it? It's just.
I am gonna buy
love
that
it.
tonight on Amazon.com. I love that. Because it's small enough that it's not, like I have a giant one. I feel like there's so many attachments. I don't
And that itself
gonna
is intimidating.
sever my limbs getting it down. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is awesome.
Okay,
So easy.
And once more.
And I'm just enthralled how easy this is.
Super, super easy.
It's a KitchenAid, by the way. If you want to know her little cute mint green, I hope you can see it. Isn't it cute?
So that's what it looks like. And
Okay.
you'll know that you've put enough water in there when you can pinch it and it forms.
Forms a little
together.
ball.
Yeah.
Okay, so
when
maybe
it does
show
that,
it like in your hand so you can see it. Just
so when it does this, because it looks like just crumpled flour in here,
right.
but you know it's ready when it sets just like that. And
Perfect.
it's very simple, and that's pretty much all that you have to do. So I've made batches where I've only used 2 tablespoons of the ice water, and then I've used batches where I've used 4. It just depends, and there's no rhyme or reason. I really don't know why, but typically 2 tablespoons is enough for you. So once you do that,
with
I'm
this?
done with that.
Okay.
Yep.
You want to clean up your area so you have room to work.
Yeah, and then so once we do that, all we're gonna do is just roll that out onto the saran wrap,
Yeah.
and that's gonna go in the fridge for 2 hours, or overnight is best, but
Yeah.
if you need to, just 2 hours, and you can freeze it, and I believe maybe up to like 5-7 days, or so like a week, you can freeze it if you wanted to.
Oh, you could. It'd be good in the freezer as long as you seal it well for
Yes.
several months. And I highly suggest doing it one day if you're feeling like intimidated. Make a bunch of pie dough, and put it in the freezer in balls so that you can pull it out if you want to make. When you have turkey leftovers, you can make hand pies with it. You can make pot pie with it. I mean, sky's the limit, you guys. I'm all about come on, let's be quick.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice when it's just in there and you can just pull it out.
Yeah, and then when you are ready to use it, just make sure it sets at room temperature. So if you're doing
Okay.
the 2-hour thing, take it out, maybe give it 5 minutes before.
Okay.
And
Just so you don't kill yourself while you're trying to roll it out.
yeah.
Need some real muscle.
Yeah, so let's get this guy out of here. And really, this is all you're doing, and just kind of hardening.
So you do it on the
Pushing it.
saran wrap.
On the saran wrap is how I do it, yeah, because it comes out crumply.
What
Just-
the heck?
Yeah, and that's all you really do, and just push it together, and that's just gonna form a nice little solid.
I just have visions of flour everywhere, and I mean, oh my gosh, this is so easy.
No, it's super, super easy. So, and then once you've done it a few times, it's, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I got this down.
You're like, yeah, I could do that. I'll make it.
So you're gonna roll it.
So I'm just gonna make a little disc, basically.
Okay.
And that's it. I'm just trying to do this now.
So you're making a ball to put in the fridge.
Yeah.
Got it. And then
And
you're gonna roll it
that
out
is-
after it's been refrigerated.
Right, yeah. Once it's refrigerated, then that's when I will bring that out, work with it a little,
Okay.
and yeah.
Now, does this recipe make one
This makes enough for one. So,
one single crust pie?
That is
so
it.
you have to double if you're gonna do a double crust pie.
Right. Or
Okay.
if you're going to add the leaves like we are, so we will have a second
Yes.
thing of dough
To
here.
do your cutouts.
Yeah, because you're gonna want to
And
do a
get
few
creative.
of them.
I mean, for every holiday, you could do little cute cutouts. You could do themed cutouts. I mean,
Yeah.
who says you have to have cake for a birthday? You can have pie and have cute little cutouts of whatever.
Yeah,
Snoopy.
anything you want,
Anything you want.
whatever thing you want, you can do that. You can make a cute little Valentine's. Put little hearts around there.
We could
Just
have,
very
you notice
cute.
that she's got a king shirt
My
and I have a
king's
pink,
on.
and a pink. We're hockey sisters.
Yes.
So we could do a Penguins Kings
We can
hockey.
totally do
We
that.
can totally get that.
And I would get creative and do little Stanley Cups around.
Right?
That's me.
We
That's
could
how
do
I think.
NHL.com and get, I guarantee you they have cookie cutters. I was just thinking that. We should totally do that. That'd be so
do
cute.
a playoff.
Half.
Yes.
I love it.
So that will
For
work.
your next hockey party.
Yeah.
Or baseball or football.
Football, whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So you make a disc, you just
So
kind of mold
that
it.
is it. So it'll be a little crumply, but that's okay. Once you put it in there, it will form into a solid little disc for you.
Okay.
So, perhaps I need a little bit more saran wrap.
So I'll put that in the fridge.
But we'll go ahead and
Yeah.
just do that for now.
Okay.
Put more here without cutting
I'll be your
myself.
little helper, your little
Thank you.
baking helper.
So there we go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
let's
next
get
we're
this
gonna
little guy
make
out.
the mixture. Right?
Right.
The mixture. So real quickly, I wanted to talk about how to do, if you want to do a real pumpkin. And it is amazing. So it is a lot of extra work, but it does yield an amazing pie. So for those of you that aren't intimidated and want to do a real pie, this is a Cinderella pumpkin, or sometimes they're called sweet pumpkins, or they're called pie pumpkins, and they're smaller, they're very dense. So you don't want the jack-o'-lanterns that you're seeing in the grocery store. Those are not gonna make a good pie. Those are, I don't wanna say bread, is that the right word? They're formulated to be a jack-o'-lantern, so that they don't have as much stuff inside so you can carve them.
Yeah.
They're a
Seeds.
carving pumpkin, different. So this is from, I'm sure a lot of you saw my Riley's Farm video. If you didn't, go to my YouTube channel, Foodie Princess, and you can see my day there. They sent me home with some beautiful pumpkins, and these are called Cinderella pumpkins, and these make amazing, amazing pies. And I'll probably do a pie or soup or something with it later. But if you want to do a real pumpkin, you're gonna cut it in half, or you can take the top off because this is bigger. You're gonna scoop out the insides. There's not a whole lot of the inside in here, but you wanna save it because if you wanna do the roast the seeds, they're delicious. You're gonna half it, and you're gonna put it on a baking sheet or silpat, flesh side down, and you're gonna roast it in about 375 for about 45 minutes to an hour till it's fork tender. Once you do that, you're gonna scrape out the inside, and you're going to put it in a food processor or a blender, and you're going to pulse it, and you're just keep pulsing it. Resist the urge to want to add water to it because it seems kind of thick, but there's a lot of moisture in this pumpkin. So once you pulse it down, then you're going to get some cheesecloth, and I have some to show you. If you know what that is, I can find it in a minute. But you want to put it in a strainer for like an hour or 2 hours in the sink. It's going to leach a lot of fluid out. And once it finally leaches that fluid out, then you can ball up that cheesecloth and just kind of wring it. And then you'll have the mealy meat part of the pumpkin, and it's ready to go. You can put it in the fridge, you can can it, you can freeze it, and it's delicious. But I didn't want to intimidate people. We discussed whether we would do a real pumpkin or a pumpkin pack. And, if you could just open a can, this is good stuff. I mean, this isn't Libby's on the label. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But this is Trader Joe's. It's organic. It's delicious. So if you feel intimidated, my whole point of doing these videos is to kind of get you guys to not be afraid to cook, to not be afraid to make things, to start experimenting. And so this may seem daunting to some people. For those of you that are more advanced that you want to do this, by all means, do the real pumpkin. But if you're feeling like your first time, just do the pumpkin pack. That's what we're doing today, and it will be great. Yeah. Especially with boozy whipped cream.
Anything with boozy, anything is
Anyway,
good.
all right, so let me move this out of the way. We've talked about the real pumpkin, and you
Yeah.
can start telling us how to make the canned pumpkin.
Okay, so what you want to do here now is you are actually going to put all the ingredients together in a saucepan, and you're just going to warm that up. So by doing that, what that does is it will help you.
Yes.
That's just actually going to help it to be a little bit more creamier.
Yeah. And I love that
consistency.
tip of
Yeah.
when you cook things, we switch sides.
We did.
Which is my better side? I'm not sure which is my better side. I like the idea of cooking it. I've never seen anybody do that, and it's true. When you start heating everything together, the flavors really kind of come together. So I love that tip.
Right.
What else? You need your pumpkin pie spices, your cinnamon, your nutmeg, all that good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, got all that, and let's see here.
I'm gonna put everything over here and you
One
just decide.
second here.
I'm got it. Do we need more cream?
I need the brown sugar.
Brown sugar.
Let me see, 2/3 cup of brown sugar.
Okay, I'll do that for
a
you.
1/3 cup of granulated white sugar and flour. And so,
2/3 of brown?
yes, please.
Okay.
So the brown, I mean, you can use regular brown sugar or the dark brown sugar. The only difference is the dark brown has a, what would you say, like a deeper flavor?
It has more
maybe,
molasses in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that flavor will come out, but again, by heating it up, you're just blending everything together, all the flavors, and it's just gonna be a little bit of a smoother consistency for you. What you can do though, if you want, you can break it down and use your nutmeg, cinnamon, or not cinnamon, cinnamon's already in there
Put this in?
regardless. Yes, please.
Okay.
Got that in there. And sugar. You can just simply use the pumpkin pie spice if
Yeah.
you want, or you can go ahead and
Do individual spices. Now, I was telling Veronica, I'm bougie about my spices. I like to use whole spices. I think they taste better. So you can buy real cinnamon, it's actually a bark, and you can use your microplane if you want to. If you just want to elevate the flavors a little bit, you can, you just kind of do that. You've seen me in my cooking videos do nutmeg, comes as a pod. There's nothing like fresh nutmeg. And again, you just do it over your microplane and grate it, and it smells amazing. So you can buy it pre-done if you want to. It's fine. I'm not going to judge you. Whatever you want to do. But there's just something a little fancy about grating it yourself. So for time's sake, we'll probably just, do it.
Tablespoon of flour, please.
Flour. Okay,
Yeah.
tablespoon.
Just a tablespoon.
That just thickens it up.
Yeah.
In?
Yeah, please. Thank you. And then from this point,
You
then
need
we'll
white
do,
sugar?
yes.
White sugar. Okay. Where do we put that? Or are we looking at like, no, that's beans. How much white sugar?
White sugar, we only need a 1/3 of a cup. A small one here.
Let's see if we have.
So that's cinnamon in there, and then so for time's sake, we're just gonna pumpkin pie spice, or do we want to go ahead and?
Oh, you just do whatever. Whatever works.
Okay.
Right. We can use this to put it in here.
Spoon. I know I had one somewhere. There we go.
2 people in the kitchen. We should be singing. I feel like I just added a little bit too much sugar. I'm so this is why I don't bake, because I hate measuring. I really do. I hate it.
Everything must be measured.
I'm like, is that a pinch? A little under, nobody will know. It's all good.
Okay, so then we're just gonna want to go ahead and just blend this all together. Got a piece of,
Yeah, some of the flavor, it'll melt.
yeah.
You can use this too, that helps.
This is probably the better thing to use
Yeah.
right now.
Stick it on there, it's fine. Here, I'll switch places. You can talk and I'll be your worker.
Okay, so now we work with notes. It's a habit of mine just because I've ruined many a cake by not referring back to my notes.
Yes.
It's a nightmare. So yeah, so you just want to maybe just cook that for about 5 minutes till it gets a little thick and a little
So
shiny looking.
medium?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Add medium. So when that's all done, then we're going to go ahead and add a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then we're going to use 1.5 cups of half and half coffee. Feel free. It smells delicious.
It does. I just want to add a little bit. There we go.
Okay.
Do we put the vanilla?
No. So once we turned it off now, because
Okay,
once
turn
you
it
get
off.
everything blended
Okay,
nicely,
it's
yeah.
off.
So
Now?
you can go ahead and add the teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then we need 1.5 cups of. We're going to go ahead and use cream on here. Half and half was good. Cream
Okay,
is good.
1.5. So we've got, this is 1, so let's go ahead.
Yeah, so we got to put the half in there.
Let's do 1.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it goes in here?
Yep. And at this point, your heat should be off. So
Not to curdle your cream.
right.
Okay. There we go. I mean, it's got butter, it's got cream.
All the good
Ooh
stuff.
la la.
So you just go ahead and mix that up. And now you should start seeing it looking like what a regular pumpkin pie.
So it's a custard, is what this
Yeah.
is. We're making a custard.
So once that looks all good.
Now,
then
are
we're
there
gonna-
eggs in this?
Yes, so once you get that all mixed up like you have now,
Okay.
then we're going to go ahead and add 1 egg at a time. And we're using 2 eggs.
Okay.
And then we're stirring it really good after each one. So, thank you very much.
Where do you want to just put it in here? It's fine. So 2
One at a
eggs.
time. So yeah,
Here,
one at
I'll
a
do
time.
this. Okay. So that's why it's important that this is turned down or off by this time, because you don't want to cook your eggs. You don't want scrambled eggs. So it's kind of tempered almost. You've added the cold cream in there, so it's cooled it down enough that it's not going to cook the egg when you get it in there. All right.
And I think they're good.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you guys see inside? Thumbs up if you can see it. Yes? All right. So what are we doing with this now? This goes into a pie crust?
That's gonna go into the pie crust. So, so you've let that sit, or assuming that you've already made it and you've taken out the dough, and it's sat at room temperature for about 5 minutes. Then you can roll that out.
Okay, so you want me to give you a pie crust so you can show how to roll out a dough?
Yeah.
All right, you move all this again.
Here.
It's like step, 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 steps.
Is this why you hate baking, huh? Oh,
I mean, the result is worth it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a lot of work.
It is.
It's a
This
lot
is
of
true.
back and
It's
forth, back
a
and
lot.
forth. And of course you're doing it live, so it's like, you know, you're trying to show it in stages where you normally wouldn't be like switching and going back and forth, but she's trying to show you, by the magic of Facebook, having dough that's already done, and she'll roll it out now to kind of show you that. She's also going to show you decorating that would take like a couple hours. So anyway,
Yeah.
all right, let me move all this.
Okay.
Get back to our boozy stuff later. Now, do you need flour down to do it?
Yeah,
okay, so I'll leave
definitely.
that. Take your spices.
I need a spoon somewhere.
You need a spoon?
Yeah, it's probably easier than this. Thank you very much.
So while she's doing that, so the pumpkin pie is, for the ingredients, you have 1 15-ounce of pumpkin puree. You want 100% pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie mix. Okay, there's a difference. That already has a bunch of junk in it. You don't want that. You want 2/3 a cup of dark packed brown sugar. And again, the reason for the dark, it has more molasses. It has better flavor. If you don't have it, it's not going to ruin the pie. It's just not going to be as dark. 1/3 a cup of granulated white sugar. 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour just thickens it. 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, or to your taste. If you like more cinnamon, add it. It's not going to affect the recipe, it's just to taste. A teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, or 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, 1.5 teaspoons of nutmeg, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground cloves. So I like to put everything in it individually. People at pumpkin, Christmas, Thanksgiving buy the pumpkin pie spice. You already probably have everything in your pantry. You don't need to buy that. So again, it's cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and cloves. You probably have it, so that's how you work it. Put a little salt in it, 1/2 teaspoon. I think when you have sugar, you add salt. Salt elevates sugar, so that's just my thing. I like that. A teaspoon of vanilla extract, or to taste. Again, it's your thing. 1.5 cups of half and half, cold. And then 2 large eggs, cold, and you're going to be adding those in slowly. So you're going to mix everything together on the heat, turn it off, add your cold cream to cool it down, and then add your eggs one at a time. And again, the reason for that step and why it's necessary is you don't want to be cooking your eggs in hot pumpkin puree. You'll have scrambled eggs. So it's really important to not miss that step. Okay, so you're rolling this out now.
Rolling it out. Now, it's really important that this is, because it's a little warm in here.
It is. We're sweating. We're sweating.
So that is kind of affecting us a little bit.
Yes.
But definitely, if this should happen to you, just go ahead and pop it back in there.
Okay.
Put it in the freezer for like 15 minutes. It's not going to freeze it over so badly that it's not workable.
Right.
But that'll help you to keep it together when you're rolling it out.
Right.
Because you want to roll it out and just constantly rotate it so it doesn't get stuck on there.
Right, and you want it to be
So,
round. I mean,
yeah.
you know, the whole idea is that you're having a semi-round.
Yeah, so we're going to see if this...
In this one, we're just going to make, we're going to use this to cut the leaves out, because we already have,
so-
you know, to keep it speedy for you guys, we have the pumpkin pie. We already baked one. It's here. It's cooling.
Right.
There's a boo-boo on it. I did it, not Veronica. But we're going to cover it with leaves. That's
But
the
it's-
beauty of it, is that we can fix it. You know, it's not a big deal. But this is the scratch-made crust with the pumpkin. And how long does it
Just go
cook?
from here. It's 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Okay.
That is it. And what you'll want to do also is wrap
Oh,
foil
foil.
around it.
So you want to either do, so you can buy the guards or just make them out of aluminum foil. And I took a couple pieces and folded them up and just mold it. And that keeps them from getting too dark. So don't forget that step or it'll be really dark. What do you need?
Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do the cutouts.
Okay.
And also what we need for this is egg wash.
Egg wash.
So it's 1 egg, and was that a tablespoon of milk?
Just a dash. You don't even have,
Yeah.
you could even use water. Most egg washes are water, but you can use.
Right, you can do that as well.
You can do whatever. So you're just gonna put it in a small dish. I'll put the link to her cute. I know everybody loved the pie that I posted on the post, and that's what we're making. We're making another one. The leaves, she gave me the link. So if you want to buy them, where did you get them on?
I got them on Amazon, and it's a set of 4 for under $10.
Amazing.
So, and you get those within a few days.
Yeah.
So
if you
have
like
Prime,
them, I'll
good.
put the link in for you.
Yeah.
And I'll put that cream in here.
So again, if you're making just the simple pumpkin pie with no leaves, when you make your crust around it, go ahead and pinch it or use a fork for your border, however you want to do that. If you're going to add leaves, it doesn't really matter. Just have some thickness there,
Yeah.
something that the leaves can latch onto when you put the egg wash on there. And then you're going to brush the leaves also, so it gives it that nice
Absolutely.
golden brown
Yeah,
color.
so the egg wash is going to give you that kind of like glossy look, and it's going to make it everything stick. So the pieces she's adding, it's like glue, literally. So if you're adding like pieces and she did a really beautiful layer, and if you didn't see it, go back on my Facebook page and look it up, because she did a beautiful pie. Actually, you brought it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
You brought it, so I'm gonna go get it while she's doing this. But you see what she means. So to crimp it, to make it look nice, if you're not gonna put the leaves on, you want to do a little bit more on there.
Yeah. And these are fairly easy. They're already imprinted, so you don't have to go with the knife and try to get all creative and try to draw on anything onto your leaves. The pattern's already on there for you. So you basically just push it into the dough, quick push down just to get that imprint, and then you can go ahead and then lift that up, and the whole thing will come up for you.
There's the
And
pie.
there's the pie.
And it's traveled, so but it's
Yeah.
gorgeous. I mean, can you imagine bringing this to your Thanksgiving Day table? This
Very
is so
impressive.
beautiful. Yum. Okay.
Yeah, so that's all we're gonna do, just go around and make all these little leaves here. And then,
You just
Yeah.
decorate however you
That's it.
want. I mean,
Yeah.
you can do whatever patterns, whatever look you want to do.
yeah,
I like how you kind of
whatever
just
you
scatter them
want.
around the edge. She's rotated the bigger ones with the smaller ones, and I mean, it's super cute.
Yeah, it's very, very easy, and these little cutouts make it super easy.
And I like that you don't have them in the middle, because you're going to cut it, and they're going to crack. So it's kind of nice that you keep them on the edge and maybe just a little bit on, coming into the
Yeah.
design a little bit. That's perfect. I'm always thinking about like, how's it going to cut?
Yeah. And so what you'll want to do is, I don't know if I said it or not, but once you put the filling into the pie and you cover it, now you cook it for 375 for a half an hour, and then you're going to remove it and then put this in, and it's going to go right back in there. So I'm not sure, I can't remember if I actually said that or not.
You didn't.
So,
Okay, so say that again. So this is baked.
So that's already baked.
20
So
minutes.
30 minutes. 20 minutes for the pie crust itself. So we will
Oh, gotcha.
do the crust itself, and you want to pick little holes
Of course.
in there.
Pinprick it.
And you also, very important, if you don't have pie weights, you can use dry beans or rice. So you'll want to lie a piece of parchment paper inside of, and picture you already have your crust in there raw.
Yeah.
You'll put these in there. Reason being is because it's a pastry, it's going to puff up, so you don't want that. These are going to hold it down just enough, and make sure you prick it with the
fork.
The fork,
Yeah.
right?
So let the air escape so it doesn't bubble.
And you let that cook for like
This is
20
what
minutes.
our grandmothers used.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they sell them now, but you just
Yes.
keep these. These are now called your pie beans, and you're going to put them in a Ziploc baggie in the freezer, and they will work for a long time.
Yeah.
You just keep them just like this.
Keep
Roll it up,
using
put it in a
them.
freezer bag, and write pie beans, and those are your beans.
Yeah.
Try not to get it in your pie. You don't really want them in your pie.
Yeah, you don't want that in there. So then after the 20 minutes of just getting that, cooked, then you want to go ahead and add your pie filling in there, and you cover the edges with the foil so it doesn't burn. Pop that in the oven, 375 for a half an hour. After the half hour, take it out, and then that's where you'll go ahead and add the little leaf pattern here that you want. And you can just be creative. Anything you want to do. If you don't have leaves, whatever you have is fine. It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, you could just do anything. I mean, you could even cut little strips if you want to make a lattice, or if you want to do,
yeah.
you don't even have to have cutouts. You can just use your knife to cut strips out and make a pattern, like a lattice pattern. It's really pretty. I'm gonna plug this in. Okay, let me plug that so we have it bigger.
So now what I've done with this, and usually you can just lift it up, but because my dough is a little more than room temperature now, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull the dough away from it, and it's still good. You just lift them up and place them on your pie, so you're still good. So, and then we'll go ahead and do the egg wash. Oh, it's right here. Do we have a pastry brush around here?
Yep. Did you get it?
Yeah. And almost. So with your egg wash, you're just gonna go ahead and just lightly brush the edges. And then grab a leaf. And it doesn't matter how you put this on. Either way, however you want to do it, it's still gonna look amazingly beautiful. So just toss that in there.
This is the fun part.
Yeah. And then you'll want to brush this, and you can wait till the end to do this also.
Absolutely. And you know what, if you wanted to put some granulated sugar on the top of these, it would brulee a little bit. It would be pretty too. So you could do that if you want to do that. Do you want a spatula to get
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you have a little one, I think I brought a little one as well.
A little offset guy.
Perfect.
Perfect.
So even if it's cooled or warmed up a little too much, don't worry about it. It's still
It'll
fine.
be okay.
Yeah, still completely,
It's like a craft project. I mean, this is like you're designing something so pretty. I love the way it looks.
So you just let it lie however you want. And you just want to go ahead and do this around the whole top of the pie as you go along.
Again, the egg wash is the glue. Keeps it glued down.
Yeah.
So pretty. Love it.
Do we want to just keep doing this?
No, I think they get the idea.
Okay, so that's how it is. You can overlap them. You can do one singlet, however you want to do it. That's how you can do it. And they can go ahead and come a little bit onto the pie itself, like you've seen here. So we have some that actually lie on top of the pie.
Yeah, overlap them.
And
I love
it's
it.
Beautiful.
And
yeah.
you have some going some way, some like a natural leaf, the way it falls. You know what I'm like? So perfect.
Right. And you
Okay.
just pop that back in there. But remember, once you put the leaves on, then go ahead and go over it with egg wash again.
Okay.
And that's going to give it that nice golden brown color.
Now, how long does this go in after?
And you put it back for another half hour.
Another
at
half an hour.
375.
Okay.
Yeah, another
All right.
half hour. You may notice that the top might be a little jiggly when you take it out, and that's perfectly normal because you
Okay.
want it to set. So you do want to leave it for, I would say, maybe 2 hours before you actually cut into it.
Oh, yeah,
but that
for
way
sure.
it sets, and you'll notice that the middle will look different, and it'll start to take on the form of
The lighter
an
color.
actual pie.
Yeah, lighter
because
color.
it looks a little weird at first.
So make these
but-
the day before.
Yeah.
Make them the day before when you're relaxing, and then Thanksgiving Day you can just put your feet up and have a little wine or whatever you want to do and have your dinner. Perfect.
And that's it.
We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna clean up. We're gonna come back in probably 10 minutes and we're gonna talk about boozy whipped cream. It gives us an opportunity to get this cleaned up because we've got a mess everywhere. Flavor infused whipped cream. Think about what you have on hand. Think about different pies and desserts that you're making. I want to teach you to elevate your whipped cream, and there's so many ways to do it. So give us about 10 minutes and we'll be right back.